All right, breaking news now. Officials are holding a news conference to update the damage left behind by the landslide in Rolling Hills Estates.
Let's listen in.
And the city council is going to have the biggest responsibility. But in a tragedy like this, people have experienced all types of hardships that you just don't think about. One of them is paying taxes on a home and a piece of land that no longer exist. And we just need to make sure that we do everything that we can do to relieve them of any burdens, especially this financial burden, as quickly as possible. So I'm here to work with the city, the county, and everyone else to make sure that we provide that relief to these residents. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Supervisor.
Thank you. And let me introduce our chief of our LA County Fire Department, Tony Maroney. Tell us a little bit about what the role of our county fire has been.
Yeah, absolutely. So, good afternoon. I'm Anthony Maroney, M-A-R-R-O-N-E, County of Los Angeles Fire Department Chief. So our LA County fire units local to the peninsula here have been on scene since Saturday at about 1:30 when they came out and they identified the cracks that were starting to the cracks that were starting to occur in the different foundations of these 12 residences. So we are keeping an eye on the two residences, one at the top of the street and one at the bottom of the street, that have not moved, and we're communicating every day with the homeowners there. But we do have our local battalion chief on scene, so they're monitoring the situation, and the LA County Fire Department, along with our law enforcement partners, the LA County Sheriff's Department, will be here to assist the city of Rolling Hills Estates until this situation is eventually mitigated. And we don't know how long that's going to take. We don't know how long that these homes are going to continue to move. But we're just, at this time, it's just a holding pattern that we're in, waiting to see what the final determination is going to be.
How many homes are sliding, actually?
12 residences.
No, not 12 are not sliding.
12 are red tag. How many are actually
Like 10.
sliding?
10, I think.
Is there a designation?
I think all 12 actually are sliding. There's foundations that are sliding out from homes. They're cracked.
10. I think there's only 10 that are actually sliding.
10 are actually sliding down the hill.
I actually believe that the structure there, number 29, or
27. Oh, that's
that 29 is red tagged because there is some movement, although it doesn't appear to have any movement.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, there's movement in areas that you can't see from the street here.
What about the catastrophic falling? That's 10, right? Is there any designation?
Yes.
Is there any designation?
I think 10 have been lost, 12 have moved, and we're keeping a tab on the one house at the top of the street and the one house at the bottom of the street, number 27, that has not moved.
Is there anything you can do?
I don't know the exact number. I think it's number 8 and 6 that have not moved. They're still inhabited. So we haven't requested that the homeowners move out yet because there's no cracks in those structures.
Thank you, Conan. I did communicate with the governor. I texted the governor today. Haven't heard back a response yet. So I just wanted to make him aware of the situation. I even said if he was anywhere in the area, I'd love for him to come by and see this for himself so he could understand the dramatic tragedy and disaster that these homeowners have suffered over the weekend. So I haven't heard back.
And is it open to the media?
No. This meeting is an opportunity for those residents who have been evacuated to come together. They've all been staying with relatives and friends. The Red Cross did offer to provide hotel vouchers, but everybody's kind of spread out around the South Bay here to come together and have their questions answered in terms of what what the next step would be, and in fact, in response to asking for an emergency status, being able to hopefully call on FEMA and some other state and federal funding in case that is a problem. Yeah.
So, do we have an update on the geologist?
Yeah, that's great.
We've heard
yeah.
People say it looks almost like a sinkhole as opposed to a landslide. We've heard,
We have given the homeowners association a recommendation of 4 or 5 geologists. It's up to the HOA to hire the geologist, but I don't know if we have any updates, because I do think some of the residents whose homes are not moving yet would also like a little bit of an understanding. Is there anything they can do at this point to shore up? For these homes that are already gone and into the canyon, there is nothing more that we can do for them. But we think after it's all settled, a good geologist and soil expert maybe will give us a clue about how this happened and if there's any way to prevent it from happening in the future on some other hillside.
So
Well, and of course
they
the
didn't want to talk to us.
Okay.
So that's why
I don't blame them, Emily.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say the homeowners association has a management company that is going to be working with their insurance, hopefully, and working through this with them to get some sort of, hopefully, source of for rebuilding or whatever they, recapture some of their losses.
Could you explain what state and federal resources are going to do, are expected to do?
Well, when you declare a state of emergency, then that opens access to FEMA, for a Federal Emergency Management Agency, so that they can come in and the homeowners, is my understanding, can apply for financial assistance. I think that's premature. I think the
Yes.
HOA is going to be the source of that information.
Right.
Yeah.
If the homes actually slide all the way down, does that affect this entire hillside? There's residents that live all along this hillside that are scared they're going to have 20 minutes to get out of their homes.
You want to answer that? Like, I asked that question. Like, when they all go, what else goes with them? I asked
Well,
the same thing.
there is a ravine cutting. There is a ravine cutting through there that is the source, apparently, of what's happening here. So it hopefully we're thinking it is an isolated case.
Right.
Mayor, is the city council taking action tomorrow, though, to declare a state of
Yes, it is on our agenda to do that.
And what would that do or free up?
Well, it would be an endorsement, of each level of the county also, to be able to have our residents access some kind of assistance statewide and federally.
In addition to the 12 homes, are there any other homes that you believe are in danger or yellow tag as opposed to red tag that you're keeping an eye on?
Not that we're aware of at this time, but we're just continuing to monitor the area for cracks in homes or any sense of movement in order to give the homeowner the order to evacuate the home, take their belongings, and get out. So there hasn't been any additional outside that initial 12.
So for clarity, just to make sure I understand, there is no geologist on site. The county doesn't have one, the fire department doesn't have one, the city has not hired one. It's up to the property owners to find their own.
No, well,
Not
it's
to
up.
find their own, but just to hire 'em.
Well, it's up to the homeowners association. In other words, this being a gated community, it's private streets, and they pay an assessment and have a management company. So yes, all of that falls within their area of responsibility in terms of helping them get insurance going on this whole process.
But this is new to them, right? I don't know another homeowners organization anywhere that just dealt with, 12 of their members' homes crashing into the canyon. They don't have to find it their own, Conan. We have given them names. County works with geologists and soil experts, but for some reason in the CCNRs or whatever, they are required to hire the person, which they're very willing to do. I think they might be interviewing some today to get them out here. Is that correct, Alexa? Yeah.
Do they then have to be responsible for monitoring this hillside after we all leave?
It's my understanding that once they come to their final resting spot, I should come up with a better phrase, then it becomes, the homeowners association then takes over in terms of the recovery and the geologist and that. Is that how you understand?
Hannah, I have a question. I know that the couple that lives in that home right there, they were talking about shoring up, possibly their home hasn't slid, but the neighbors that it's connected to,
their back patio is gone. Is there any way they could shore up and prevent these homes from going down the hill?
That's what we're hoping this geologist will tell them. I have no idea, but I think we're hoping a geologist can tell them. And maybe it's something we can learn going forward on potential future shoring up of hillside homes. Yes?
You made the comment earlier that you believe that many of these homes will fall into the canyon sooner or later. You're sort of sticking by that. How do you think the majority of them, a couple of them drop? And the other thing is, you know, in talking to some of the homeowners, they're worried about getting in to get some of their personal.
Yeah. Yeah, at this point, none of these homes were allowing anybody in. They're absolutely collapsing on top of themselves. The roofs are at ground level. Everything's collapsing. They're all falling. The force of gravity is taking them. They will all eventually go. It's how far they go. Some of them have a steep canyon underneath of them. Some places the ground is a little bit flatter, and maybe they stop earlier. But they're pretty much demolished. These homeowners have lost their home, and really the land that the home sits on is also gone, which is why the assessor coming and helping them out to understand, you know, what they actually would owe in terms of a property tax, I think will be really helpful.
Just to ask the assessor, how does that work? I mean, is it a complete forgiveness, or how does that work?
So obviously, property is valued based on the land and the improvements. These homes behind us, there are no improvements. Those are the total loss. And the land that was beneath them is now going to be a hillside. So when we're done valuing this property, they will have nominal value. And as a result, the property owners are entitled to property tax relief. So what happens next is we're going to take that value off the assessment roll. The auditor controller is going to correct the records, and when the tax bills go out in the fall, these folks hopefully will not get a tax bill. If they do, it'll be for a couple dollars for a vacant hillside.
And you're going to help expedite it.
We are helping. We're going to try to. The property tax system actually moves at a very, very slow pace. It's actually already moving for the November bills. We're going to expedite the processing of these homes to make sure that they don't have to deal with bureaucrats and thousands of dollars in property taxes.
Can anybody talk about the water leak theory that's been rolled out? That came out earlier than
None of those theories have really been, you know, no conclusions have been formed, and I must say that we are scheduled to be back at City Hall to meet with the residents, so we're going to have to wrap up.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, all of you, for being here, and we just appreciate letting the public know what's going on. So thank you.
All right, some tough words to hear there from County Board of Supervisor Janice Hahn, basically saying that for the homes that have already fallen into the canyon, there's very little they could do. They're monitoring those 12 residences that have fallen into the canyon in this landslide. And they're also monitoring, too, Amy, at the top and in the bottom. They haven't moved yet, but they still don't know how much longer this land is going to keep sliding.
Exactly, and they are waiting for a geologist to come in and let them know more. They are waiting on the HOA to actually hire that geologist. Of course, we'll continue to follow this one.
Stay on top of it.
Absolutely. Well, still ahead.